Gulliver slowly opens his eyes, only to find his hands and feet tightly bound. Lifting his head, he is absolutely stunned. Tiny thumb-sized people are standing right on his chest. These mini-humans are known as Lilliputians, and their leader, General Edward, instantly brands Gulliver a terrifying monster. Overwhelmed, Gulliver panics, screams, and snaps the threads to stand up. But General Edward wastes no time, ordering his troops to attack. The tiny army swarms Gulliver's legs, tripping him up until he crashes down, knocking himself out cold. The soldiers quickly secure the giant and haul him toward the royal palace, while amazed townspeople gather, wondering if an alien has just invaded their land. Soon, Gulliver is brought before King Theodore. The king demands, "Why are you here? Do you intend to harm us?" Gulliver tries to explain, "I'm not here to hurt anyone. I'm just an ordinary person like you. I don't even know how I got here or what this place is." The soldiers inform him that he has entered the kingdom of Lilliput. Watching this, the king's daughter, Princess Mary, begins to feel sorry for him. She is a kind-hearted soul who can't stand to see others suffer, asking, "Why are we treating him so harshly?" However, General Edward remains suspicious, claiming Gulliver might be a spy sent by their enemies. Fearing the worst, the king decides to throw Gulliver into Lilliput's most dangerous prison. They lock Gulliver in a cramped cell and offer him some grass to eat. Gulliver is baffled. "Am I a cow? Why are you feeding me grass?" But they ignore his questions. In the prison, Gulliver meets another inmate named Horatio. Horatio mentions that he used to be the tallest man in Lilliput. When Gulliver asks why he's locked up, Horatio explains, "I am in love with Princess Mary, but she is engaged to General Edward, so he threw me in here to keep me away from her." Gulliver laughs and calls Edward a complete lame-ass. Just then, the general walks in and demands to know what that means. Thinking fast, Gulliver lies, saying that lame-ass means the smartest person in the world. Flattered, the arrogant general proudly declares that he is indeed a massive lame-ass. Moving on, the general forces Gulliver to plow the fields like an ox while he sits back and enjoys the show. Horatio stands nearby, heartbroken to see Gulliver treated this way. Suddenly, the kingdom of Lilliput comes under attack. Soldiers from a rival kingdom invade, setting the palace on fire and attempting to kidnap the princess. Hearing the alarm bells, the general rushes off to the scene. Horatio urges Gulliver, "They need your help. Go save the princess." He quickly unties Gulliver's restraints. Gulliver makes a grand, hero-style entry, picking up the tiny enemies one by one and tossing them into the ocean, successfully rescuing Princess Mary. However, the palace is still engulfed in flames, and the king and his minister are trapped inside. Horatio begs Gulliver to find a way to put out the fire. Gulliver comes up with a, let's say, highly unique solution. He unzips his pants and literally pees all over the palace. The flood puts out the fire instantly, saving the king and his minister. The general arrives and is furious, shouting, "How dare you urinate on the king?" But Gulliver doesn't miss the chance to accidentally let a few drops fall on the general's head too. Despite the gross method, the king is deeply grateful to Gulliver for saving his life and the kingdom. Seeing Gulliver become the hero, the general storms off in a fit of jealousy. Later that evening, the king invites Gulliver to a royal dinner. Gulliver agrees, but on one condition. Horatio must be released from prison. The king agrees and sets Horatio free. During dinner with the royal family, the general, and Horatio, the king asks Gulliver where he's from. "I'm from New York, America," Gulliver replies. The Lilliputians, impressed by his size and stories, start believing he is the king of America. Enjoying the newfound respect, Gulliver plays along, saying, "Yes, I am the king of America." This makes the general even more resentful. He spitefully remarks, "We'll find your boat soon so you can leave." The next day, the king has a massive house built specifically for Gulliver, complete with a staff of servants. Later, we see Horatio and Gulliver talking. Horatio is depressed because he loves the princess but doesn't know how to win her heart. In a classic move, Gulliver, who couldn't even impress his own crush back home, starts giving Horatio expert dating advice. Following Gulliver's tips, Horatio manages to charm Princess Mary. She's clearly impressed, and an overjoyed Horatio thanks Gulliver before skipping away in happiness. In the next scene, the general approaches Gulliver and says, "We found your boat. Now, please, go back to your country." Gulliver is thrilled to see his boat and even finds his iPhone. Checking his phone, you find a voice message from Darcy. As her voice plays, we finally learn how Gulliver ended up here. Back in New York, he was just a mailroom worker with a huge crush on Darcy. To impress her, he lied about being a seasoned traveler, which earned him an assignment to the Bermuda Triangle. While sailing through the Bermuda Triangle, Gulliver started reading a book about building robots and soon drifted off to sleep. Moments later, he was jolted awake by a gigantic sea vortex. Panicked, he desperately tried to control the boat, but the violent storm swallowed both him and his vessel, washing him ashore on the mysterious island of Lilliput. In a message, Darcy says, "It's been so long and I haven't heard from you. Wherever you are, stay safe. I'm coming to find you." Hearing her voice, Gulliver's heart skips a beat with joy. Meanwhile, an agitated General Edward goes to the king and complains, "Feeding this giant is costing us a fortune. We must kick him out of the kingdom." But the king is having none of it. Instead, fed up with Edward's arrogance, the king strips him of his rank and appoints Gulliver as the new general. This completely blows Edward's mind. In a fit of revenge, he shuts down Lilliput's entire defense system, leaving the kingdom vulnerable to enemy attacks. All just to teach Gulliver a lesson. With the defenses down, the enemy begins their invasion. Horatio rushes to inform Gulliver, who immediately heads to the king. The king pleads, "You must protect this kingdom at all costs." Gulliver steps out to face the enemy fleet. Hoping to avoid a real fight, he tries to cut a deal with the invaders. "Look, I don't want to hurt you. I'll just splash around and pretend to attack, and you guys use that chance to retreat." Gulliver starts thrashing in the water to create a scene, but the enemies aren't buying it. They start firing cannons at him. To everyone's surprise, the tiny cannonballs don't even scratch him. They bounce off his belly like rubber and hit the enemy ships instead. Realizing the power of his own physique, Gulliver goes full hero mode. He grabs the ropes of the entire fleet and pulls them out into the deep ocean, single-handedly saving Lilliput. After this victory, Gulliver is treated like royalty. He lives in absolute luxury. Armies of people are dedicated just to cutting his hair and giving him body massages. He even starts remodeling Lilliput to look like New York's Times Square. Watching all this, Edward is so consumed by jealousy that he practically pulls his own hair out. He defects to the enemy kingdom, determined to find a way to kill Gulliver. When the enemy king asks how they can possibly defeat such a giant, Edward reveals his secret weapon, the book on building robots that Gulliver had been reading on his boat. Edward had found it while searching for the vessel. It contained detailed blueprints. One day, Edward shows up in front of Gulliver with a massive robot he built and challenges him to a duel. "If you lose, you leave Lilliput forever," Edward declares. Thinking he can kick the robot away easily, Gulliver accepts the challenge. But as the fight begins, Gulliver realizes he's in serious trouble. The machine is a powerhouse. He can't even budge it. Terrified, Gulliver tries to run, but the robot gives him a brutal beatdown. Defeated and humbled, Gulliver finally confesses the truth to everyone. "Everything I said was a lie. I'm not the king of America. I'm just an ordinary guy from the mailroom." The Lilliputians are heartbroken by the revelation. General Edward then ties up Gulliver and sets him adrift at sea. After floating for a while, Gulliver finally reaches ashore. At first, he thinks he's back home, but he's in for a bigger shock. He has landed on an island where he is the tiny one. Everyone there is 100 times larger than him. Before he can react, a giant little girl picks him up to keep him as her living toy. That little giant girl starts treating Gulliver like a living doll. She dresses him in doll clothes, forces him to eat tiny treats, changes his diapers, and even stages a mock wedding between him and her other toys. Meanwhile, back in Lilliput, Darcy actually arrives in search of Gulliver, but she gets captured just like he was. Seeing this, Horatio braves the ocean to find Gulliver and finally tracks him down. Horatio delivers the urgent news. "Darcy is in Lilliput looking for you, but General Edward has imprisoned her along with our king and queen. You're the only one who can save them." Motivated by love, Gulliver escapes the giant girl's house and rushes back to Lilliput. When he stands before Darcy, the king remarks, "Look, your princess has arrived." A confused Darcy asks, "Why are they calling me your princess?" Thinking quickly, Gulliver bluffs, "Oh, here they just call every guy a prince and every girl a princess." The queen then chimes in, "If you two want to share a private moment of love, we are ready to cover our eyes and ears." Darcy isn't buying it. "Don't play games with me, Gulliver. What's the truth?" Finally, cornered by the situation, Gulliver confesses his feelings for the first time. He admits, "I told everyone here that you're my girlfriend, Darcy gives a small, shy smile and asks, "Is there any way out of this place?" Gulliver replies, "First, I have to save this kingdom," and proceeds to break the king and queen out of prison. The next day, General Edward finds out Gulliver is back and prepares for a final showdown. They face off in front of the entire kingdom. Just like before, Gulliver struggles against the massive robot, and Edward starts gaining the upper hand, even blasting Gulliver with electric shocks. Seeing his friend in pain, Horatio can't stay quiet anymore. He manages to sneak inside the robot's mechanical frame and cuts the internal wiring. As the robot's systems fail, Gulliver seizes the opportunity to dismantle the machine and finally defeats the general. The crowd erupts in joy, witnessing Horatio's bravery. The king finally accepts the relationship between him and Princess Mary. However, in a last desperate move, the general grabs the princess at sword point. But Princess Mary shows her own strength. She levels the general with a single punch, sending him hitting the ground. Everyone cheers for her courage. Seeing everything settle, Darcy finally accepts Gulliver's love. Just as a new conflict starts brewing between the two rival Lilliputian kings, Gulliver steps in. "Your Majesties, war is useless. Why not work together to make Lilliput great?" He ends the tension by leading everyone in a celebratory dance. After the festivities, it's time to say goodbye. Horatio gets emotional, losing his best friend as Gulliver and Darcy set sail for home. Back in New York, both Gulliver and Darcy receive major promotions for their incredible report on the Bermuda Triangle. They are finally happy, successful, and together. And on that high note, the movie ends. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're into adventure movies, check out either of the videos on the right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.